Okay, welcome everyone. There we go. Everyone's arriving. Lovely, lovely. Thank you, thank you. You all notice you're all on mute, but we do want you to turn your video on if you can. We absolutely love being able to connect with you. We've just got people joining in here. Welcome. We're just getting started. Look, what I would love you to do, get that chat open and just pop open in the chat where you are, right? Where in the world you are and what you do creatively. Can you just pop that in the chat as we get underway? We're going to be doing some introductions soon, so you get to know who is all here, but just popping into the chat where you are in the world and what you do creatively. Amazing. Love all the people flooding in. This is fantastic. Good to see you all. If you just joined us, video on if possible. We love that. And of course, you will notice that you're on mute for today too. But yeah, pop in the chat. Where are you in the world and what do you do creatively? Now, I am in Richmond, Virginia. I probably do not sound like I have an accent from Richmond, Virginia, though. I'm from New Zealand originally. So if you didn't know that already, there you go. That's the giveaway for the accent. I sometimes make people guess, but not today. So there we go. Welcome, everyone. Fantastic. I'm just having a look through the chat there, and I love this. We've got people from all over. California art director. I love that, Ron. Awesome. Haley, Brooklyn, painter, muralist, graphic designer. Michigan, Steve, nice. LA, podcaster and designer. Hey, Sky. Awesome. Vicky, Washington, video book trailers. Awesome. Hey, Vicky. San Diego, San Francisco muralist, fine artist. Oh, so many great people in here. I recognize a few names too. Thank you for joining us. If you've just arrived, make sure you do pop in the chat where you are and what you do creatively. And then have a read of what everyone else is doing. We're going to make sure we get an opportunity to connect you all as well. And we'll do that a bit later on. But we want to get underway. We've got lots of good plans. So to start things off, we're going to get Ari to do the first intro. So over to you, Ari.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ari. I'm an illustrator, letterer, and muralist based in Tennessee, Clarksville to be specific. I love drawing things that are a part of my interest, so that's mostly nature and nostalgia.
90%
Um,
connected to.
You're good.
but I do murals based off of that. So when I get to do that for clients, I love drawing flowers for anybody. I'm happy to be here today, particularly for this topic, because I have come a far away from that overthinking and that imposter syndrome, and particularly perfectionism. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys about that today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ari. That's absolutely fantastic. Jillian, let's get you to do an intro next.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Jillian, Jag.ink on the internet, and I am an illustrator and muralist based in Connecticut. I have been running my own business full time for about 5 years now. I think I started around 2020 officially full time. And I create work for a variety of applications, greeting cards, book covers, merch, marketing campaigns. And I paint murals for many different types of clients, public arts, small businesses, restaurants, and residential homes. And so that's a little bit about me, and I have the pleasure of introducing Logan to all of you today. I'm very excited to bring him in. And so Logan is my and Ari's business coach. Logan had his own creative business for 11 years and has since worked with hundreds of graphic designers, muralists, illustrators, all sorts of visual creatives, helping them grow their own businesses, leave their day jobs, make more money, build these businesses of their dreams. So in the time that I have worked with Logan, I really started to take my own business seriously. And I've been able to pivot into new creative industries like publishing world and book covers. I've grown my own confidence as a business owner, and I've landed commissions that I had been dreaming about for a very long time. So with that, I am going to send it back over to Logan.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jillian. Thank you, Ari. So fantastic to be here. I'm really excited about today's workshop because this mindset stuff is so important. Look, as Jillian mentioned, my background is that I had my own creative business for years, so I really get it. Plus, I have a business master's, so I've always been passionate about the intersection of business and creativity. It's kind of this area I've just always been passionate about. And, as Jillian mentioned, we work with people at lots of different stages. We work with people actually early stage stage who are like, hey, they might have a day job or they're wanting to really get going with this business, they're early stage, right? Group one. Group two are like, hey, I'm further along. I've been doing this for a little bit, but it's not really sustainable yet. Some people have a little bit of part-time work and they really want to get it sustainable or expand their offerings, perhaps. That's group two. And then group three are like, hey, I've been doing this for like 10, 20, 30 years sometimes, and I really need help to get it more sustainable, maybe launch some new offerings, and also just balance that wellness and mindset stuff as well. So, a big part of it is growth, but I will say growth in a sustainable way. This is incredibly important. We're going to talk more about this today as well. And then, as you've probably heard, illustrators, graphic designers, muralists, surface designers, that's very much the area that we work in and help people to grow. Most of our clients are in the US and Canada. As I mentioned, I am originally from New Zealand, but I'm based in the US myself. What we are going to be doing today is we also are going to be giving away some freebie calls with Paul, who's one of the coaches on our team as well. So Paul's along here as well, and Paul's just going to do a quick intro so you can learn a bit more about Paul before we dive in. Over to you, Paul.
Awesome. Thanks, Logan. Really excited to be here today, and this is such a great topic, and it comes up so much in these calls that I do. I'm Paul Corrigan. I'm based up here in Maine, where I run some small businesses, including my Christmas tree business seasonally, which is really fun. And I'm also the small business specialist and coach with the Flammable team, as well as running some of the socials as well. So really looking forward to connect with you, and hope we can hop on some calls after this workshop and chat about your creative business, because I really love it. It's like my passion is to talk to people about their business and help you guys figure out what's the best path for action. So great.
Love it. Thank you so much, Paul. Awesome. Okay, let's get into it because we have lots planned for the workshop. So the first thing I would love to say here is well done for showing up. Right? Like, congratulations for actually showing up today to learn, to grow, right? One of the big things that we see is that the difference between successful people as visual creatives and people that are not successful is the ones that are having this success are taking action, right? They're showing up. They're doing the hard stuff, right? They're showing up for themselves and they're working through their own growth as well. And honestly, committing to that personal growth journey, the learning, that's an important part of it. So well done for showing up today. Today is about action. Look, great to listen in, to kind of hear what we're saying, but I really encourage you to also take notes, right? Like really take notes, get deep into what we're discussing, engage in the chat as well. This could be one of the most important workshops you take this entire year, because it's really about giving you some different perspectives and some tools to move forward with as well. So the topic we're going to be running today is all about growing your creative business, even if you're stuck. Right, so we're going to talk about the things that can come up on the journey, the things that can get in people's way of actually growing. And a lot of that is around balancing mindset. Right, mindset is an incredibly important piece of this. It's also something that a lot of people struggle with. Right, yes, absolutely. It's important to be good at your craft. Right, we know that. And the people we speak to, they're great at their craft. There's some other elements we need to get right as well, though. One of them is the business stuff, right? The marketing, the business stuff, absolutely. That's part of it. That's part of how we help people as well. But there's a third element. That's the mindset side, right? You can be really good at your craft, really amazing at the marketing side, the business side. But if there's some big mindset blocks, they can really hold you back. Right. And these are things that we need to address. The other really interesting thing about mindset is that mindset growth never actually ends. Right? It's an ongoing thing. As you unlock new levels, right? New things will come up. As you unlock new challenges, mindset may get in the way as well. So it's really about being aware that mindset never ends. There's an ongoing growth journey here as well. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going through some of the really classic stuff that comes up that we see with our clients. Along the way, both Ari and Jillian are going to be sharing some of their perspectives from their journey as well, which I absolutely love, because it's great to be able to teach this stuff, help people with this stuff, but for you all to actually hear the people in this, it's really, really important as well. And I'm sure you'll resonate with many things they are sharing too. So the first thing that we're going to go through here, we call it the perfectionism trap. Right? Raise your hand if you feel like sometimes you're a bit of a perfectionist. Those of you on live here, right? Yeah, it's common, right? It's really, really common. A lot of people struggle with this perfectionism and actually getting stuck in this trap. Now, ultimately, there's a lot of creative work in the world right now, amazing creative work that no one will ever see because of perfectionism. right? Because people are like, oh, it's not ready, it's not right, it's not perfect, I don't want to show it to the world yet, right? There's a few things we need to be really aware of around this. One of them is that we need you to put your work out there so that people can actually see it and they can also determine what they like as well. You need to get feedback from real people. Unfortunately, our eye is not always the best eye to see the quality of our work because we see the flaws, right? Because we see the problems, or we see the journey, and we understand what we've done wrong when we put that piece together, those designs, that creation there. So it's really important to understand that. At the same time, if you're putting something out there, maybe on your website, on Instagram, you can also remember that you can hide it later. I think people often forget that. They're like, I have to put this perfect thing up on Instagram because if it's not perfect, it's there forever and people are going to laugh at me. Well, for one, people will probably actually really appreciate seeing it. They're not seeing it. But also, if you feel like in a few months' time, that doesn't represent me and my work anymore, that's fine. You can actually archive that, right? So it's important to understand one of the balances of building a creative business is that you're going to have to create a lot, right? And you're going to have to find that balance between the time that you can put in, what you can charge, and what you can charge for that work. Right. So, yeah, maybe you would love to spend 100 hours perfecting this thing. But if you did that for everything, you wouldn't have a business, right? Because that would be really overwhelming. And ultimately, you wouldn't be able to create value. And you would probably have to go and do something else to actually pay your bills, right? So, therefore, it's about finding that balance. Now, I'm not saying put rubbish out there. I'm not saying just throw it up out there. No, it's about, is this work good enough? Is this good enough for my Instagram? Is this good enough for that client? Is this up to a standard? Absolutely. This is part of it, but we need to understand that perfectionism is something that gets in a lot of people's way. It's a distraction, right? And it can really actually slow you down from moving forward. Second guessing things, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this work's not good enough. It could be better. The truth is, yeah, it could always probably be better, right? Because the reality is that perfection in itself is often really hard to reach, but you can get close. You can work towards that. So I want you to be very, very aware of this. Pretty much every client we work with experiences some form of perfectionism, and it's something that they do have to work through as well. So really, really important one, this one here. Jillian, would love to hear some of your journeys, perspectives, thoughts around perfectionism as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think we've all fallen into this trap for sure. If you wait until the conditions are perfect to start posting online or to start offering some sort of creative service, you might never start because the conditions are never going to feel perfect. And so my motto that I've like drawn and illustrated many different times is start before you're ready and grow as you go. Because you're just going to learn so much more by doing rather than sitting there and perfecting your piece or watching another YouTube video about like how to start a perfect business. For me personally, I started way before I was ready. Like I started posting online on Instagram back in 2016, and a lot of this is archived now. So the archive button is very useful. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have a business at all. I owe a lot to just like my early 20s confident self that I started posting online. Um, and yeah, so I just think, you might never feel like you're ready, but you probably are, and it's worth it. Like the internet is sort of like compound interest. Like if you start putting your work out there, you start getting eyes on it, it's going to grow. It'll just start growing, and it might take a while. It took me a long time to get here, but it was worth it.
I love it. I love the compound interest as well. I think, just such a powerful concept as well. It's like, hey, like you've got to put your things out there. You've got to sprinkle those seeds and say like, hey, like I need to put myself out there because then more people are going to notice me and I'm going to be able to build my business long term as well. So absolutely love that. Look, we're going to keep running through the training, but one thing that I would love to everyone here to do, if you're here live, can you pop your Instagram in the chat? Like go and grab the URL and pop it in the chat because I want to get you connected with everyone here. I also want to make sure that I'm connected with you, Jillian, Ari as well. So pop things in the chat. Celeste from my team is also going to pop the Flammable Entrepreneur one there too. That's our one there. Thank you, Celeste. But yeah, everyone here, everyone that's on live, go and pop it in the chat. This is an opportunity to get creative, get connected with more creative people as well. Awesome. I can see everyone's popping their links in there as well. Once you've dropped your link in there, make sure you go through. We definitely want to get connected with you. Jillian and Ari want to get connected with you as well, but also connect with other people too. This is really, really important. Building that connection with other people, it's part of it. Building a supportive community as well. I know that Ari and Jillian have both really embraced this in their growth journey too. And a big part of it is just connecting with people. So absolutely love that. Amazing. There we go. We're filling up the chat with lots of Instagram links. So let's make sure that you're clicking on other people's as well. And Celeste is going to make sure that we're connected with you as well. I know some of you, Celeste and I are already talking to, which is fantastic through the DMs. So all great to keep those conversations going too. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about is kind of an interesting one, super common, comparison. Who compares themselves to others sometimes? All right, yeah, I think everyone needs to put up their hands. It's a natural human thing that we all do, right? We all do that. We all compare ourselves to others. We kind of try and figure out like, where's our level? Where do we sit? Where's our creativity? Where's our business at? Where's our skills at, right? This is something that is incredibly normal and incredibly natural. Unfortunately, it can also be quite negative for you as you try and grow your business, right? Because the truth is, there's going to be people out there who are better than you at what you do and not as good as where you're at. That's always going to be truth, right? We need to understand that as an important piece of it. We also are our own worst enemies. We're our own worst critics, and we see those flaws. We see our own work has those gaps. So I'm sure most people that you're following, probably on Instagram, are probably other creatives like yourself. Right? And I'm sure you'll be comparing yourself going, oh, that person's work's really amazing. I think it's actually better than mine. Right? And they're probably doing the same thing back, going, oh, I wish I was good as that person there. Right? It's really interesting how that can work. That comparison is really, really common. So number one, I want you to have some awareness around that. When you notice yourself having that mindset of, look at that. Oh, theirs is so much better. It's going, hey, that's okay that they might be better than you, but also understanding that actually they could be the same level. Really, really important because you're your own worst critic as well. A really common thing that we see, Paul and I see this a ton when we have calls with people, is that they feel like they are not good enough to either start their business or grow it to that next step. Right? It comes up all the time. They're like, oh, hey, I think first of all, I need to like go and work on all my creativity, my designs before I really pursue growth or pursue this business in a real way. Right? And Paul and I look at their work and we're like, wow, it's absolutely amazing. Right? But they can't necessarily see that. And I want you to kind of notice a couple of things around why this happens. One of the reasons is because the thing is the creative side, but there's other reasons that can get in the other things that can get in the way of growing a successful business. One of them is the business stuff, right? So to grow a business, you're going to have to figure out that business stuff. What often happens is people go, oh, I'm not good enough. My creative work, I don't seem to be getting any clients or much interest right now. It's because my work's not good enough. The reality in most cases is that it's because the business stuff is the gap. It's not the creative stuff. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm not saying your craft doesn't matter. There's always room to grow, to learn as well. But the vast majority of people that we talk to and obviously work with, well, it's not the issue. The creativity is not the issue. They will keep learning. They will keep growing. It's the other stuff. It's the business stuff, right? They're just not out there, right? They're not really doing the marketing thing. And there's the other piece that we're talking about, the mindset stuff that they need to work on as well. So just want everyone to be very, very aware of this. Sometimes you just need to actually keep in your own lane, right? We hear this quote sometimes. It is powerful to understand that sometimes we're just comparing to everyone else and going, oh, they're better than me. I'm not ready. Sometimes it's going, let's keep you focused in your lane moving forward. There's always going to be people out there better than you and worse than you. But A, you're not that good at really deciding where you sit within that because we see our own flaws. But B, there's plenty of opportunities anyway, right? That's really, really important to understand. I'm sure the vast majority of people that are here live on this call or watching the recording, actually, your work is probably really incredible. And that's not the thing that's getting in the way of the next stage you need to unlock. Whether that's getting started with the business, whether you've been doing it for years and you want to unlock that next level, it's probably not the level of your craft. It's probably a mixture of the business stuff and the mindset stuff that can get in the way here as well. Ari, would love to hear, some of your perspectives, thoughts on this as well. I know, a big journey for you around this stuff as well. So over to you.
Yeah, I think everyone's like comparison manifests in a different way. And I think a lot of the normal ones are like, they have more followers than me. Or like their Instagram feed looks really like curated. And I think for me, it was, I would see other people's work, and one, they were prolific in a way that I wasn't. Like they were putting out work in a frequent way that I just wasn't able to do. So that was like getting in my mind a little bit. And also like the perpetual thing of like they have a style and I don't have a style. And then I just like my mom, who's not an artist in the way that in the traditional way, but she said to me, like, of course you have a style because it came from you. And like I think that was the biggest lesson, is that like when you're tending to your own garden, so to speak, and you're like you're doing your own stuff and you're staying in your lane, like you do have a style and you do have a perspective because it comes from you. And so freaking out about how someone else's stuff looks better than yours or more cohesive than yours isn't helpful when it comes to getting your own work done, because it's keeping you from even drawing your own things because you're not focusing on that. But the more that you draw things and the more that you're making things, it innately becomes more stylized like you because it's coming from you. And comparing yourself in a way that to other people in a way that's not helpful to your business or your mind either. But I think as well, I would encourage people to follow the people who they love because they're inspiration for you, not because, or because you want to have a journey like theirs. Like Lauren Holm has been like an idol to me for as long as I can remember. And I think I never was like, oh, I'm never going to be like her. It was more like, I want to be like her. So I think like just changing your mindsets for comparison to be more of an inspiration rather than a barrier from what you think you can't do. Like, it's possible. So compare yourself so that you know it's possible to get there one day.
I love it. So, so powerful once again. And everyone, this is the real stuff, right? This is what Jillian and Ari are living, breathing, experiencing day to day. And, they've been on a real journey over the last couple of years as we've worked with them as well. So love what you've shared there. Thank you so much, Ari. We're going to talk about basically what we call growth mindset next. Now, there's these two mindsets, right? One of them is fixed mindset. Fixed mindset says you can never grow, you can never learn. We kind of are who we are. It's hard, right? It's hard to learn something new. This is just our level of knowledge. That's where we're at, right? That's a belief that many people hold. The other side is a growth mindset, right? Having a growth mindset is incredibly important. It basically says, hey, you can grow, you can learn, anything is possible. Doesn't matter where you are right now, you can grow and you can better yourself in absolutely anything. Now, the thing here I want you to be really, 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 really aware of is that fixed mindset is actually the most common mindset that exists in the world. Right? This is the truth, is that yes, you need to have a growth mindset to grow, but a fixed mindset is the most common mindset out there. This means that most people around you probably have more of a fixed mindset than a growth mindset, right? And that can be our families, our close friends, our supporters, our community, right? So we've got to be very, very aware that that's a very common mindset, and therefore that can roll off onto you as well, right? I'm not saying just get rid of your friends, get rid of your family. No, this is about understanding this is very, very normal. Okay, what we need to do instead is we need to embrace a growth mindset, right? Growth says you can learn anything. Embracing a growth mindset really says that, hey, you can do this, right? There's that saying, which is that if you think you can or if you think you can't, either way, you are right, right? So if you think you can't do something, yeah, it's going to be true, because you can't believe it and you're not going to put in the work, the effort, the figuring out part. It'll become true. It'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whereas if you believe, yeah, I can do this, I'm going to figure it out, I'm going to do whatever it takes, I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow. Yeah, if you think you can, you will, right? And that will become true. So I want you to be very, very aware of this. I think it is one of the most powerful quotes out there to understand that we have a lot of control over our own minds, and that has a big impact on how we live and experience in the world, but also how we can grow. Part of building a business, you're going to have to do a whole lot of stuff that you have not done before, right? If you've been running a business for years and you're wanting to unlock the next layer of growth, you're going to have to learn new things that you haven't learned before. Doing the same stuff isn't going to get you where you need to go, right? So we need to understand that it's very common for us to feel, oh, this is too hard, or like I've never done that before, so I don't know how, right? Outreach. Oof, okay, that sounds scary and doesn't feel right. Well, it probably won't feel right because you've never done it before. But you can have a perspective saying, I've never done this before. This doesn't feel normal or natural, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to learn, and it's going to get easier to do. Because to grow a business, you're going to have to better yourself. You're going to have to better those skills around the mindset side, yes, but also around that business side too. So part of it here is understanding that to do that, you're going to need to also surround yourself with the right people, right? Surrounding yourself with people who also are working on having more of a growth mindset. Also surrounding yourself with coaches, mentors, getting that guidance to actually help you get out of your own way and make sure that you're getting through the challenges that come up, because they will. Challenges are real. It's going to be normal. Sometimes people have this perspective of like, fingers crossed, hopefully it'll all just be a perfect journey and no challenges will come up. Well, the truth is that challenges are going to come up and you're going to have to figure out some stuff. You're going to have to learn, you're going to have to grow. And part of that is believing that you can learn, you can grow, you can figure things out, and you can work through any challenges that come up. This is not just a default natural mindset. This is something that you can work on, right? This is one of the ironies of having a growth mindset. Well, most people, it's hard to get a growth mindset if you don't have a growth mindset because you don't believe you can have a growth mindset, right? It's like a big tongue twister. But we need to understand that absolutely you can learn, you can grow, and you can change these thought processes, right? Even if there's these thought patterns that you already have, there's an opportunity to shift them from scarcity, from fixed mindset to more of a growth and abundance mindset as well. So really, really important stuff here. Jillian, would love to hear your thoughts and experiences around this as well.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a huge one and something that I'm still, constantly working on, or we're always still thinking about ways to tell yourself that you can grow and that there is an abundance of work for you. And yeah, for me, I think that this really manifested when I started working with you in this coaching program, because I didn't really have a community of other creative entrepreneurs in my world. I grew up with a family that's a very traditional career path, and so no one had any advice for me as someone who wanted to freelance or like work for themselves. That's just not what I was surrounded by. So entering this community with other creative entrepreneurs who are working on their own businesses and having them, have similar questions to you, similar journeys, and seeing how other people are also growing, that really unlocked something for me where like I realized that yes, you can do this and you can continue to learn. And there are a ton of things that come up constantly for me, like the outreach thing that you just mentioned, was huge. That was a huge barrier for me. I did not want to do any of that. But I learned that, you put a spin on it where you tell yourself, well, I'll send 100 outreach emails and maybe I'll get 2 emails back, and that's growth. And it's just about like putting a spin on any of these barriers that you can accomplish and like overcome these things, and you will continue to grow. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's so important, like, to see everyone here. Like, this is an ongoing thing. Jillian and Ari, they're still working through this stuff, but they've also unlocked these next levels, right? And the thing that we do know, Jillian, you know this, Ari, know this, is you reach a next point of growth in your business, and you're like, great, I've got it all. I'm confident. I know what I'm doing, and wow, you unlock another level, and it's like, okay, I need to actually work on this stuff again, right? It's not that you're just like, growth mindset, tick, done, forever sorted. It's like this stuff can actually come back again, and also it'll come back as you reach those new heights as well. So this is an important thing, and we say this to our clients all the time. It's like growth's going to be an ongoing journey. Mindset's going to be an ongoing journey, and part of it is helping people to shift those mindsets in the first place, but also to maintain them as new challenges come up, and unlock those next levels as well. So all good stuff being shared here. I absolutely love this. This is so good. We're going to take you through definitely a few more training items as well. And then we will hopefully have a bit of time for questions as well within that. And we're also going to run you through how we'll do some freebie calls with Paul too. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is imposter syndrome, right? I think this is like the most common thing that people feel. Like it's super common. Everyone knows what it is. It's really a big challenge that people have, right? Imposter syndrome is real. I think what's really interesting, like we work with people at lots of different stages, early stage, trying to get started. Maybe they have young children and wanting to build a business on the side or get that growth or leave a day job. We work with people that have been doing it for longer. They're wanting to unlock that next growth. They're wanting to get the 10K consistent months. We also work with those advanced people as well. What's really interesting is that imposter syndrome actually comes up at every level. Right? We also have clients that have sometimes over 100,000 followers on Instagram. Most of our clients we work with tend to have less than 5,000 followers, but we do work with people occasionally with larger followings, right? And even people we've worked with like 300,000 followers, 500,000 followers, you would be like, oh, they seem like they've got it all together. They would never have imposter syndrome. No, it's really, really common for them as well. So this is something that pretty much everyone experiences at some point, and it's something that everyone needs to work on and can work on, right? I think, part of the reason for imposter syndrome, well, there's several. One of them, it's that stuff we talked about earlier. Imposter syndrome comes from comparison, right? Comparison of, oh, maybe this person here is better than me. Maybe I'm not actually that good. Maybe I'm an imposter. Who do I think I am to try and grow my own thing? How dare I, right? That comes from comparison. And the other thing it comes from is that desire for perfection. Looking at our work going, it's not really that good. I don't think anyone's going to like it. It needs to be better, right? I'm not good enough. This client's going to hate my work. I'm not good enough to put my work out there yet, right? Now, often it's actually also coming from a lack of understanding around the other stuff beyond the craft, the business stuff, the mindset stuff, right? This is something that we really need to understand here. Sometimes we see, particularly beginners, and I'm saying beginners in business, people that are early stage, they're kind of confused being a beginner in business with being a beginner with their creative skills. Right? So they're very good at what they do creatively. Their craft is very good, but they're not great at the business stuff yet because they're still figuring it out. They're still growing. They're getting experience. So what they do is they go like, oh, I need to charge really low rates, right? Because I'm not that good at this stuff yet. But the rates that you're charging should be reflecting the other stuff, the creative stuff as well, right? So you can actually charge good rates as soon as you start your business. Right? Understanding that can actually really help people to see that it's not just all about the creative side, but also it's about understanding that if your creative work's fantastic, well, you can actually charge good rates from the start. Most people are more ready than they think. We hear this all the time. Oh, when I'm ready, I first need to go and develop my portfolio more, right? Paul, you see this a lot, I know, right? It comes up on a lot of calls where there's a feeling of like, oh, first of all, before I start my business or before I take it to that next level, I need to like create a whole lot of new work. I need to work on the craft. I need to go do some more art courses, right? That's a super common thing that comes up. And we look at their work and go, that's not the thing in the way here. And it's kind of interesting. We're like, why does that happen? And the answer is, well, it's much easier to work on the stuff that you understand and know already. Right? You're passionate about the creative side, the craft. It's way easier to create more work, grow more, learn more, pick up a new medium. That's way easier because you understand that. It's much harder to go and learn the business stuff because that's foreign, it's new, it's not natural, right? Talking about cold outreach, Jillian was saying, it's like, right? No, I'd way rather go and learn more about my art, get better at my craft, create more. Now, I'm not saying those things don't matter. As I said earlier, they do. You do need to keep growing, learning new things. What I'm saying is that's not the thing that is in the way most of the time. It tends to be the business stuff, right? Things like learning about outreach. Yeah, we think about outreach as like those spam emails that we get all in our inboxes. No, this is very different. This is targeted outreach, sharing something that has amazing value that people actually want. Really, really important to understand that ultimately one of the reasons people tend to lean away is because they haven't done it before, right? If you've never sent cold emails or never really pushed your business, put yourself out there, networked, done those things, well, that's not going to feel easy and natural. Therefore, okay, much easier to do the stuff that you do know. So part of this here comes up a lot around that imposter syndrome and really understanding that the fear, the holding yourself back, ultimately you're not going to grow and it's just going to take you longer. Right? Like, yeah, you probably will get there, but it's going to take you many years when actually, if you apply and get moving and get started, forget about the imposter syndrome, just get going. Actually, you're going to grow and you're going to learn as you go. So honestly, there's so much I can share on this topic. Ari, would love to hear your perspectives on this around imposter syndrome from your journey as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to be an echo chamber, honestly, because I wrote down a bunch of notes from what you just said. Confusing being a beginner in your business with confusing being a beginner in creativity is a thing. I just had a job last week where I had that same feeling where like I have done the same job over and over and over again. And this one, for some reason, I felt unready for. But for what reason? My friend talked me off the ledge because she was like, "You've done this a million times." And so I don't want to scare you, but I also want to, I think it maybe is a little bit comforting to people to know like that in almost all cases, everyone who you're idolizing or who you watch who is a creative has had imposter syndrome, and they get projects that are cool and exciting, but that can also be trepidatious to them. But I think for me, the thing that I try to at least go back to is like if you're feeling like a faker in this one aspect, like what are you confident about? Like what's the thing that you know you're good at? And I have a marketing background, and for the longest time that was what I would fall back to. Like that was the comfort for me. So I knew that I could creatively solve someone's problem. That was like the best comfort. And so I would apply that to the things that I wasn't confident in. Or like if I was pitching a mural, the thing I could settle in most, even if I wasn't confident in the work that I was putting out, that was on my portfolio or that I was posting online, it was that I knew I could sell a mural to them based off of the value of a mural. So if you can find something that you are confident in, just apply it to the thing that you're not confident in right now. And hopefully that'll like make you cross the border of like what's giving you that imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I love it. I think, just so important to really understand that this stuff is common. As Ari said, like, yeah, this happens to people at all levels, right? And therefore, it's not just something you're going to figure out once and it's done. It's like, no, things will come up again and you're going to have to work through these different mindsets. I want everyone here to think about, working on mindset, working on confidence, working on fear of failure and comparison and, imposter syndrome. These are all things that are really, really important for you to do, right? Yes, you've got to work on the craft. Yes, you've got to work on the business stuff as discussed. You've also got to work on the mindset stuff, right? One of the things we occasionally hear, maybe Paul or I will get on a call with someone and, we'll be chatting with them and we'll mention something about mindset and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, I've got that stuff's all covered. I'm perfect at all that stuff." We immediately go, because we know from experience that often there's a bunch of blocks that they're just avoiding. And they're like, no, that stuff's good. Right. And then when we start to unpack it, it's like, wow, no, there's some really big comparison happening there. There's a lot of fears coming up, a lot of imposter syndrome, but they're trying to kind of squish that, hide that. Hopefully Logan, Paul won't kind of ask questions, dig in more, right? Understanding and being open to the fact that mindset growth is normal, natural. Mindset blocks are normal, natural at every level, and understanding it's an ongoing journey. You never reach perfection around this stuff. You just unlock another level as well. So absolutely love that. Important to understand that mindset is part of this journey. One other thing I want to mention here as well is just basically around the fear of failure. So I think something that holds a lot of people back, and it kind of ties in many of these things we've talked about, is the possibility of failure, right? What if I get it wrong? What if I put a project out there and it is a disaster? What if the client gives me bad feedback? What if I put a post on Instagram and someone's like, in the comments, like, "Oh, yuck," right? It's like our worst fear, right? To actually experience failure, to have negative feedback or something like that. I want you all to understand that failure is part of growth. failure is going to happen, and you actually need to switch that to expecting it. Now, I'm not saying you hope it'll happen. I'm not saying you create failure, but actually failure is an opportunity to grow and learn. If you are not experiencing any failure, it probably means you're actually holding yourself back from your own true potential. This is so important to understand. If you live in the comfort zone, it probably means that you're not reaching your own potential. Understanding that some failure along the way, yes, avoid it where you can, but it's going to be part of it as well. Some people will occasionally say, yeah, hopefully I will be lucky. Hopefully I will never experience failure. As I said earlier, you will, right? Understanding that it's not about luck, understanding that it's normal to experience failure and actually go, oh, there's a failure. This is an opportunity to grow. This is an opportunity to learn. And it also says that, hey, I'm pushing my limits here. I'm really trying. I'm not just holding myself back and living in that safe zone because of comparing with other people, comparison syndrome, with imposter syndrome, those things there as well. So important to understand as well within this. Fear of failure, fear of vulnerability, right? These are things that could really get in people's way of actually moving things forward, because growing your own business, reaching these next steps, part of it is there's going to be stuff to figure out that's hard. There's going to be times where you won't know what to do. There's going to be times where you need to experiment. There'll be times where something is working and then it will break. Right? There'll be times where you have to look a bit silly. There'll be times where you have to go back to being a beginner, right? This is all relevant, and we really need to understand it's normal. It's okay. Really normalizing those things is so, so important. Otherwise, what can happen? So people go, hopefully, fingers crossed, I will be okay and I will experience no failure. I'll never get something wrong. I'll never break anything. Right? Well, the problem is when they then when they do end up experiencing failure, getting something wrong, they'll go, poor me, I'm such an idiot, it's all my fault, I'm unlucky, poor me, I'm not meant for this, I'm not built for this, I'm not this sort of person, right? That's the passions that can then come up. Instead, we need to flip that script and go, you know what, okay, this is really frustrating and I need to figure this out and avoid this in future and get through this challenge, learn from it. But it also says that I am pushing myself, right? I am working through the different barriers. And actually, you know what? I'm putting myself out there. And part of putting yourself out there is understanding that failure is going to be part of that as well. Cool. We are going to be diving into some question time next. So please pop a question in the chat. We did get some sent in, so we'll make sure we cover what we can. We'll cover those sent in ones first, and then if we have time to cover some others as well. Before we dive into Q&A, I do want to take you through a few things here. Number one is really, I want you all to understand that what we're covering today is the tip of the iceberg. Right, absolutely. Having more clarity, some learning around these different things that we've covered today, around these mindsets, is so, so powerful. But often what we see is people need to dig a lot deeper. They also need to work on the other elements like the business stuff, right? That sales and marketing we mentioned. The truth is that today we've just touched the tip of the iceberg in what is actually required to grow a long-term successful business that's also sustainable, right? That's another really important word there is, yes, success is good, growth is good, new clients, new opportunities, but we need to make sure it's sustainable long-term as well. It's incredibly important. So what we are doing today, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be giving away free clarity calls with Paul. He's the creative business specialist on our team. Great to have you here today as well, Paul. Look, how this works, I'm going to run through and then we're going to drop a link in the chat and you can just go and book a time in right now. Right, so we're going to be dropping that in the chat. Now, I do have a couple of things I do ask before you book things into Paul's call, right? Into Paul's calendar. This is really important. Number one is that we need you to be ready to take action now, right? Leave your day job. You want to grow your business. You want to take things to the next level. If you're just kind of like gathering ideas and just kind of here to hear something new, like not ready to implement, then please don't book that call because Paul does have limited spots on the calendar. So that's kind of the caveat number one. The second one is that we would love you to be open to sharing stuff, right? Get vulnerable, get open with where you're at. Paul's lovely to speak to. We want you to share what's your dream, what's getting in your way, hearing his observations, his ideas from his vast experience as well. Basically, what we're saying is we want you to be coachable and have that growth mindset, right? That's really important as well. The third thing, kind of an obvious one, but really important, is that you do commit to it, right? We want you to turn up. We want you to be ready on time. Yes, we'll be sending some pre-call things just for you to fill out so that Paul can prep for that call as well. We want you to make sure you take it seriously. We don't want you to be like holding your phone, sitting in the car, like on, no, we want you to be like on a table here on Zoom, ready for that one-on-one time with Paul. Paul's time is incredibly important. So those are the 3 caveats I have. Apart from that, it's a totally free call. What we're going to do is post, I'm going to pop Paul's link into the chat. And then what you can do is go find a time there, right? And this here is going to be about helping you get more clarity, process some of what you've learned today, and also help you figure out what's holding you back. So I'm going to pop that in the chat now. Please click the link there, pop that open, find a time on Paul's calendar. As I said, main asks are those 3 caveats, pretty straightforward. But honestly, I would love pretty much everyone here that can and agrees to those 3 things. Please find a time. Recommend as soon as possible. There is some times there for next week if you can snap one of them up. Otherwise, the week after or the week after that. But sooner is always better so that you can really process what you've learned today and also connect with Paul to talk about some of these things that are holding you back and also figure out the strategy from here as well. Look, if you did want more of our coaching help and you want to get deeper than that, absolutely, Paul can take you through what that could look like as well in terms of the next steps for how we can actually look at coaching itself. So what we're going to do next is we're going to jump into Q&A. So if anyone does have a question, please just pop it into the chat and we'll make sure we cover those things off as well. I'm just going to pull up the questions we were sent in before as well, which is fantastic. There we go. Thank you, Vicky, for the kind comment there as well. Just seeing that. Okay, so the first question, actually, Paul, we're going to get you to answer this one here. We're basically going to talk about how do you know if you're good enough to be getting paid for your work? I think this is such an important one. It's something that comes up for a lot of people. I know you hear this a lot, Paul, but yeah, love for you to share with everyone. Yeah, how do people know if they're good enough to get paid?
Yeah, this is a great question. It comes up on like every single call, pretty much. A lot of creatives are unsure of their own work, and it comes back to that stuff we talked about earlier. I think one of the first things you can do is ask your peers or a professional in the space who knows the industry what their opinion is. Kind of like creative, checking with other people like we might do in art school. You kind of check each other's work. That can be really helpful. A key thing here, though, is not to trust just everybody with this. Some family and friends, well-intentioned, might try to discourage you because you're doing something that they don't believe in or don't know about and are just trying to protect you really in a nice way. But at the end of the day, it's really, if you want to push through these things, you really have to kind of make sure you're trusting the right people to give you feedback on your stuff. So one thing about these calls that we can have, which I'd love to chat with all of you on those, is I can be that person for you. Kind of take a look at it. We see so much creative work. And if you're not at a point where you're ready yet, that's something that we tell people occasionally. We'll say, yeah, it's not there yet. Maybe you do need to work on your portfolio a bit more. But most of the time, as Logan said earlier, it's already there. You just don't believe in it yet. And you're probably focusing on the wrong things, not the business stuff, which is really what you need to do to move your business forward. And again, like Jillian said earlier too, if you're waiting for perfection on these things, like to have the perfect portfolio or your perfect website or everything to be aligned, it's just never going to happen. So you're never going to actually do it. So it's really good. And in the end, the only real way to know this for sure is to start your business and start marketing it, your creative offerings. And we recommend doing this while maintaining a day job if possible. If you're still in a job and trying to transition out, you'd like to leave it, it's really good to have that. So not the whole burden of your income is on this new business that's going to take a little time to grow. So that's kind of our advice there.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. I love that. And, just so great to get Paul's perspective on this as well. This next question is kind of actually related to this as well. So I'm gonna take everyone through this one here. The question that we got sent in was basically, what stage do I know I'm ready to leave my day job and go full time? Right. So it's kind of related to like, when am I ready to get clients? And I'm just going to give kind of a perspective on this really specifically around day jobs. As Paul mentioned, it's really important to build while you have that security. What we typically see for people with day jobs that we work with, it's usually going to take them 6 to 18 months to leave that day job. Now, there's going to be variation within that. For some people, it's about going part-time, or some people, it's not that they're leaving a day job, it's that they're caring for children or they've been out of work. We need to understand that it is going to take some time. This is not just going to be an overnight thing. One of the nightmares I occasionally have is when I jump on a call with someone who's like, I've just left my day job yesterday and I'm ready to start my business. And I'm like, oh, okay, right, yep. it's going to take some time, right? And, often what we see is, they're wanting to get it moving straight away. They need to get income coming tomorrow because they need to pay their bills or cover their mortgage or pay their rent, right? The best time to actually get moving is when you have that security of the day job, or you're in a place where income isn't as important coming in from the business right now. Because as I said, it's going to take time. Look, we've worked with people who have literally left their day job within 3 months, 2-3 months of actually starting to work with us. But most of the time, it's going to be 6 to 18 months. Right. So understanding that is really important, because what we need to do is build a strong foundation. Right, a strong foundation in the business, so that when you do commit to, yes, maybe going full-time or mostly full-time, well, you know what to do. You already have learned a lot about marketing. You've also taken action already. You know what to do. Also, you've worked through a bunch of these mindset things that used to really plague you and used to really get in the way, right? Your abundance mindset is better. You've opened up more of a growth mindset as well, right? So understanding that to leave the day job, ideally, you want to already have some clients, already have some revenue coming in. You've worked on that mindset, that confidence. You've got things set up more. You've built more of a foundation, right? Obviously, this is not the perfect journey for everyone. We've also worked with people who have saved money, then left the day job and then started their business. We get it, because it's also quite hard to work a day job and grow a business. We understand that as well. But I want people to also understand that even if you have savings and you've got a runway and you're like, I have a year or 2 years or whatever that looks like, well, it's still going to be a scary journey as you see it taking time. You're going to be like 3 months in being like, well, I'm not earning my $10,000 per month yet. Right? It takes some time, right? Understanding that the sooner that you get started, actually get moving, the better in this stuff here. So it's so important to understand that, and that's honestly why we end up working with people, is that we need to support them through these next steps of growth, both that personal growth and mindset stuff, as well as the actual business structural stuff as well. Cool. We're going to go through a couple more questions that we got sent in before as well. This next question here, Jillian, I'm going to put this one to you because I think this is powerful but difficult. A lot of people struggle with this stuff. Rejection. So the question was, how do you deal with rejection in your business?
Yeah, definitely a big one, and that's something that we all face. Just like you were talking about with imposter syndrome, it's any level of business faces rejection at some point. Like we all do it. We all go through this. So I think that that's the first thing to recognize, that it's just like a natural part of business, and it's probably also it tends to be a good thing. Like it's like the one door closes, another door opens type of thing, where if you have that mindset, then like maybe something else is going to come into your inbox soon. And it tends to work that way. For me personally, I think a good way to deal with rejection is just to like close out of your email and maybe get some perspective out in nature, touch some grass, take a walk. That's always good. And yeah, just recognize that good things are coming your way. I think that I was probably well equipped to deal with rejection because I went to school for theater. So I've dealt with it for many, many different ways in my life. But yeah, it's just a part of it, and you will get through it. You will grow through it, and the next email will be coming to you soon.
I love that. And, I think part of it, as you said here, is really more about actually understanding these tools that you can put in place, right? Jillian's got all these tools. It's like, okay, when I feel rejection, when I experience rejection, I'm like, okay, there's something I can do. I have some tools. I can go for a walk in nature. I can do this thing here. I can actually reflect on these pieces here and keep focused on those next steps as well. And these are tools, honestly, that are going to be different for different people as well, right? So I'm sure there'll be some people here that are like, oh yeah, walk in nature, perfect. Some people will be like, that wouldn't help me when I feel that, right? I just get in my own head even more. I would need to do something else, right? So that's something that Jillian has worked out, different tools that work for her, because as you know, Jillian, Ari as well, rejection's part of it, and it's actually quite common as you're growing your business and taking these next steps forward as well. This next question here, Ari, we're going to put this one to you. Kind of related, but how do you increase confidence? How do you increase your confidence specifically? I'd love to hear your one.
Yeah, I think the best thing that has been helpful to me is doing more of the thing that I'm afraid of, or doing more scary things, I'll say. Like if rejection is scary to you, then like not don't seek it out. I'm not saying that. But I do think like do more outreach. If outreach is scary to you, do more outreach and then it becomes less scary. Like I was telling someone in coaching a couple weeks ago that like I've gotten to a point where I enjoy doing outreach. Like it's not a burden anymore. It is burdensome, I think in some cases, but I also know that it creates opportunity. And it has literally created an opportunity for me um, over time. So I think the thing that was scary was rejection. I wasn't seeking rejection, but you get a lot of no's or you get a lot of ghosts. But if I get 100 ghosts and I get one yes, then like it's less scary because it does have something positive out of it. Or like if networking is scary to you, like find a way to network that is achievable or doable. So I think I you can get confidence doing the things that by just facing your fears a little bit. But also, like I mentioned in the last one, like what are the things that you know you're good at? And if you can apply something that you're good at to the things that you're not good at, then it makes it a little less scary as well. Um, and also stop trying to predict what's going to happen. Like you don't know what's going to happen. So you could be not doing something because you're afraid of it, when it could really turn into something really cool, or maybe you like it.
Yeah, I love this. It's it's so powerful, as Ari said, to there's things you can do, there's things you can work on to actually increase, yes, your confidence, right? There's things that you can do. I think one of the things we see occasionally is people are like, oh, I'm just not a confident person, or I wish I was a confident, one of those confident people out there. The good thing is you can work on this. Right. Yeah, maybe some people are naturally just more confident. We get that. But there is always room to grow, and there's things that you can actually do, and there's those tools you can put in place as well. Absolutely love that. Look, we're coming towards the end of our amazing workshop today. It's been such a delight. Now, just a reminder, we'd love lots of you to get on calls with Paul. I just had a quick check, and a whole lot of you have booked calls in already, which is fantastic. I'm going to drop that link in again. A reminder, this is a free call. It's a clarity call. He's going to help you process what you learned today and also give you some tips and strategies from there as well. This is something that we would love to do more often. We can only do when we can, but make sure you snap up one of those spots. There is a good number of spots there. So just make sure you've got that link open if you're here on live, and go find a time. If you clicked and it didn't work first time around, it means someone might have just nabbed one. You just need to find a new time if it does that. But we'd love to just make sure that everyone here that would love to get on a call does. So please click that link. What we'll do next is I want everyone here who's live to please share a takeaway in the chat. What have you learned today? Right? If everyone can type some things into the chat, what have you learned today? What is a takeaway? What did you find useful or interesting? Right, really, really important we get some of those takeaways into the chat, because ultimately, yes, we've covered a lot of good stuff today, but we want to really hear what are the things that stood out. And also we want to condense those learnings for other people here as well, to remind everyone here within that too. Cool. And thank you for people sharing in the chat. Thank you, Ron. Fantastic. I love that. And just while people are popping in the chat their takeaways, I know Paul, mentioned a comment in response to Deborah here as well. It's like, Deborah, what you're sharing, like super common, marketing being the biggest hurdle. Absolutely. Definitely jump on that call with Paul, because he'll be able to chat with you more about these things. But I just wanted to say to everyone here, like, this stuff is the common stuff. It's the mindset stuff. It's the marketing stuff. It's the business stuff that tends to get in the way. There's fear, there's resistance. It's often not a natural area. Even the word marketing, we're like, ugh. For many people, it's like, yuck, marketing, sales, right? It's actually just connecting. It's just connecting with people. It's helping communicate the value of how you can help them, or how you can create value in the world as well. So there's lots of mindset shifts to experience there. So definitely make sure you get on that call with Paul as well. All right, just looking through the chat here as we're starting to wrap up. Lots of good things being shared here already. I love it. Send that email. Yes, absolutely. I love this. Send that email there. Nice, Kelly. Outreach, Ellie. Nice. Thinking about marketing. Nice. Don't wait until you're ready, Corinne. Absolutely. Your artwork has worth. Success will come in stages. Nice. Love the quote. If you're living in the edge, where are we there? If you're living in the comfort zone, you're not living up to your potential. Yeah, it's so important to recognize that, especially when we were talking about failure earlier on as well. Keep adding things to the chat, everyone. This is so good. I'm feeling inspired. Nice, Karen. That's great. Feeling good to have lots of the things I'm actively working on. Reinforcement sustainably, as well as digging deeper as well. This is so, so good. I love it. I love what everyone shared here. Really appreciate everyone. Keep adding things to the chat. We'll start to do our wrap up as I discussed. I'll pop that link in one more time of pools just so you've got it there. Open it up just so when we finish the call, it will be disappearing. What we're going to do is our wrap up. So we appreciate everyone. Jillian, thank you. Thank you, Ari. Hasn't it been great today? It's been fun, hasn't it?
It's been really good.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you, Paul, as well. So great to have you here today as well. We're going to wrap up here. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Have a lovely rest of your day. See you, everyone. Bye.